A big hello and a warm welcome to all of you amazing and beautiful people out there. Welcome to my channel. In this particular video, I'm going to be talking about using your goddess energy in the world of dating. Before I tell you how to use this energy, you need to understand what is goddess energy. Definitely, it is the feminine energy, and why do we need to heal this energy is also a very important part of this. Because most people, most women, many people on planet Earth, maximum people on planet Earth are actually programmed and they fall under rigid programming, and they are taught to understand dating the way they are being programmed through the media, through the novels, through the movies, through the books, through many other sources, music as well for that matter. So when many people start dating or they enter the world of dating, they look at it as a validation, as a source of validation, because the friends or the peers or maybe cousins or maybe college friends, they are going to start this subject in your life first, like, oh, you don't have a boyfriend or you don't have a girlfriend. If you take these questions too seriously, then two things will happen. Either you'll find someone by yourself randomly and you'll start dating that person, or else you will succumb to the pressures created by other people around you, and they only would hook you up with someone or fix you up with someone. Maybe they start this question in the first place because someone else asked them that, hey, is this girl or is this guy, whosoever you know, is single or not? So goddess energy is basically a very powerful energy. It's a very fierce and independent energy. Goddesses don't chase. That's the number one thing that you need to understand. Because they have the creative energy, and the creative energy also is the life force energy on this planet. So in totality, it makes the goddess very powerful. She should not definitely choose someone based on social pressure or family pressure or college friends or office friends or this and that, different types of friends we have. This usually happens a lot when you are either very young or you are in a social setup where a lot of people are around you and they ask you this question either in a subtle way or they put it right across. Many a times I have noticed that there were certain people who were very happy single. They were very focused, very motivated. Especially it happens with students or people who are career minded, girls especially. They have a very strong focus and they know what they want and they actually can get it. They almost like 50-60% also manifest it. But because everybody around them starts telling them, hey, it's your age now, or hey, why don't you do this? Why don't you have a boyfriend, or why don't you get married? And she starts thinking like, oh, it must be something very important that I need to do. And while she is focused on her studies and while she is focused on her career, suddenly this add-on responsibility would be put on to her. And now she has to look around for that person who is going to either suit her needs or is going to just suit her. And whatever you have as per your mind programming, whatever you have been taught in all these years that this type of guy would be nice for you or that type of guy would be nice to you, you want to go ahead with that. So coming into your goddess energy means that you have to remove all of those layers. You have to literally let your own energy or the universal energy, your own energy is also connected to universal energy. You have to let them decide or let them bring that person to you. Until the time that person, that right type of person does not pop up in front of you or appear in front of you, or some situation happens where everything starts materializing. Till the time that does not happen, you should actually not look for anyone. If it is a part of your goals, like, yes, I want to be settled by this time, I want to marry by this time, I want to have a child by this time, then too you should actually let it happen on its own naturally. And the goddess energy also means that you give it time. You give time to know people. You don't make hasty decisions, or you don't just go like that just because everything at that point in time seems fine and you are probably in a situation, again, in another situation where you need someone. Goddess energy is this effortless and authentic energy wherein you don't have to act in a certain way which is not even natural to you. Which means that certain people think that, goddesses speak like this, or they act like this, or they behave like this, or they have to be very gentle, or they have to always be certain way of, soft spoken mannerism of communication. That is absolutely not true. Especially if you read about the goddesses from the Indian subcontinent, you will realize that goddesses can take any form depending on the situation. Goddess can be Saraswati, who gives knowledge and enlightenment to people. Goddess can also be Lakshmi, who is the goddess of abundance and wealth and prosperity. And goddess can also be Durga or Chandi. When it is required, she can become very fierce, and she is not scared of her anger if it is genuine anger. Because genuinity is the mark of all goddesses. A goddess is not going to fake her behavior. She is not going to fake her love. She is not going to fake, because fake people are those people who like to please others, and they only like to please others constantly because they have certain insecurity within them. They feel that if I act and behave in a certain way, then I can either get people or I can get things done. So she doesn't have to do that, and she will also assign tasks to those people who are right for those tasks, or who are deserving enough for those tasks, or who are good enough for those tasks. Before you are in a relationship with someone else, it is very important that you form a relationship with yourself, and goddess energy is about that. This independent, beautiful, nurturing, and at the same time fierce energy is a combination of many things actually, which require a great amount of focus and a great amount of self-love with humility. Like, there are a lot of people, they learn how to manifest things, or they learn how to display certain type of behavioral aspects, or they learn how to project things onto other people, but then they develop an ego and they develop an arrogance around it, because of which the goddess energy diminishes. Because she is not arrogant about anything, she is not egotistical about anything. She understands that it is her natural endeavor, or it's a natural behavior to respond to certain situations, because this is a world of karma. The goddess is very bold, so a bold woman is not going to be scared to express herself without acting needy or clingy, because boldness is also about independence. If she likes a man, she is going to talk to him, she is going to try to understand him, she is going to figure him out, like, okay, I need to know this person before I give my precious time to him, or if I go out with him, or if I, do any other activity with him. And if, for example, this man is not the right man, or he does not reciprocate in a certain way, or he sort of rejects her in some way, like body language, or maybe he starts vanishing, or he starts disappearing, then she is not going to contact him, or she is not going to call him, or she is not going to message him. She is not going to convince him, or she is not going to act in a certain way that she is available for him. Because sometimes men with toxic energy, they also like to play a lot with women. They act in a certain way which is, though it is coming from ego, but they will also try to tell the woman that, you need to behave in a certain way, you need to do a certain things, you need to let me in too early. So during dating also, it's not necessary that every time it's going to be a smooth ride, or every time it's going to be perfect. Especially when you're an independent, bold, confident woman who does not need anybody to get her things done, or she's very committed to her goals and mission, then maybe she might attract men who are going to try to pull her down. So she can recognize those men also, and she can exert control over these situations. And if she feels that, okay, this is not working out for me, or I need to take a break, or I need to let this person know that I'm not available this way. And you have to be also very logical and practical in certain things. Like, everything cannot be simply words. Goddesses don't go by the words, they go by the energy of a person, and they go by the actions of that person. She is not going to mother the lovers, she's not going to be their mother. And even in scenarios where you are a mother, you're going to give people a lot of independence, and you're going to look at them as, you are listening to them, you are paying attention to them, you acknowledge them, and you don't judge them. And even if you judge them, you have a very valid reason for doing that. Because see, whenever there is too many judgments, either from your side or from the other side, it means that there is an ego barrier, and it also means that this is not going to be a suitable relationship for you. So you have to basically honor your feelings. All goddesses honor their feelings. If they are in pain, if they are not happy about something, if they don't like something, they will be very honest, and they will be very strong in bringing it on the table. They are not going to dilly-dally it. They are not going to, say something else when they mean something else. They will be very straightforward. Now, a lot of people tell me, oh, too much straightforwardness is not nice. Why it is not nice? At least in the moment, you're straightforward, you're honest, you can sleep well, you don't have that guilt that you had to please other people or you had to act in a certain way which was really not you. When you can differentiate between that, that type of a behavior, when you're trying to please and when you're not trying to please, you can be very relaxed because you are now honoring your feelings. You're not running away from your feelings. Neither are you chasing something so badly that you have to change yourself, like you have to beg and you have to convince and you have to plead. So this is another point, that she is not going to mother the man. She's going to tell him that I'm not your mother, I'm your partner, I'm your girlfriend, I'm your friend, or I'm your wife, whatever the scenario is, but I'm not your mother. However, I can nurture you and I can stand by you when you need it. So as I said, goddesses spend time on the man they want to be with. They are not going to just fall for somebody like that. They're going to look at that person, analyze that person, view that person, review that person. They are not going to be scared of losing someone just because, the others feel that the process is very slow, it's taking too much time. And if somebody is hurt, goddesses are very smart and fast to act upon it. They don't like to waste time also. So as much as you're giving time to someone to know somebody, but if the other person feels like it's, too slow or it's not happening at the pace that I want to have, and they voice it out, at that point in time also they are going to voice out whatever is there in their heart. I'm talking about the feminine energy. And this, yes, a lot of people are going to apply it. A woman with goddess energy is going to recognize the divinity in herself and also in the other people. So when you're in the dating scenario, when you're meeting other people, even initially, like when you're friends with someone, you are going to look at them like, they can do a lot of things, they are beautiful souls, but at the same time, you'll also act with discernment and logic and practicality. It's not like you're wearing a rose-colored glass, okay, and then you're dating someone because a person fits into certain physical criteria. It's going to be a combination of both. Like physical attraction, it's not always sexual, my friends. It's like you like somebody's appearance, you like someone's physical features, or you like the way they look at you, you like the way they admire you, you like the way they are, maybe they are healthy, maybe they are fit. You are basically looking at everything they do, but you're not doing it in such a way that you leave all your work, you leave all your goals, you leave your career behind, you leave your hobbies behind, and then you're doing it. So being in this energy means that you have your own hobbies, you have your own career, you have your own goals. You don't chase people. If someone makes a plan with you, say they plan to go out for a movie with you, and they say, okay, I'll meet you on Tuesday, we'll go out for a movie. And it's Tuesday morning, they have not messaged you. And maybe you also ask them, hey, what's the scene with the movie? Like if you're an independent person, you can ask that question. What's the scene with the movie? What time are we going to go? And the other person does not give you a clear answer, or they just say like, yeah, I'll get back to you. I'll check out. I'll let you know. That's it. She does not have to again pester that person. And if that person does not speak about it at all, she is not going to go back to that person that easily. And next time when that person comes back, messages her or tries to talk to her, she's going to clearly tell that person that, hey, you made a plan with me for a movie, but you did not show up. What was that? How about that? Like, what happened? She's going to ask that, but only when the other person brings in that subject, or the other person is again, like very demanding, or they are very like, let's talk, let's meet, or this and that. Another thing I want to say, without any judgments on anybody who wants to enter into a physical or a sexual situation with someone, you need to set your priority and you need to set your expectations absolutely clear. So if you are in a relationship with someone which is a friends with benefits relationship, where there is no future commitment made or no such thing as, I like you, I love you, you're my girlfriend, you're my boyfriend, none of that is being done, then you are going to keep it like that till the time you don't feel the need to change it. And say, for example, you feel the need to change it and you speak to the other person, and the other person is not in sync with it, then first of all, you're going to respect that they don't want to do it. And if you want to continue it like that, you will continue. But if you don't want to continue it like that, and you want to tell that person that I'm so sorry, but I don't want to continue like this because it's either making me uncomfortable, or this is my reason, this is the reason, or I have developed some feelings for you. But if you're not into that zone, then I don't want to continue it this way. I like to know you better. I like to go out with you. I like to spend some more time with you. And even though it could hurt, but if she is very solid in her work, and she's very grounded, and she's very rooted, she knows what she wants, she is going to stop chasing that person there and then. And I'm talking specifically about friends with benefit situation, because lots of people are in that situation. If it's a dating scenario also, you have to basically keep living your life. The men you are with, or the man you're with, when I say men, it's like if you have dated different people at different times, the men you're with should not have this pressure on their shoulders that, I have to do this or that for her, only then she's going to be happy. The most important thing that goddesses understand is that you cannot expect other people to make you happy. You cannot put the responsibility of your happiness on the man. Okay, if he is not able to make you happy, you don't have to be around him for that period of time, because putting that responsibility on someone is actually too heavy, and it also takes your own power away. You have the power. If you're an empowered woman, you have the power to do everything that you want, and you can be very effortless at it, But if you give that power away to someone like, hey, you have to do this for me, only then I'll be happy, only then I'll be happy, then maybe it will work for some time. As long as the sparks are flying, as long as there is physical attraction, it might work. But once the physical attraction wears down, and once it's over, then the other person may not be that interested in you to make you happy. Or I feel this is a big burden to give to someone else, and goddesses usually don't do that. Neither she expects other people to constantly take care of her, nor she is going to be overtly motherly or nurturing when it's not even required. Another important thing is that goddesses don't try to seek attention. They don't have to do anything, because you have to understand everything is energetic. When you like someone, when you project your energy on someone and they doing the same, writing posts that directly that it will affect them, or it will touch them or trigger them, or putting up pictures which you are putting up only because you want that other person to see and give attention and affection to you, or using certain tactics, certain manipulative tactics to make that person like you, or trying to mirror a person just because when you mirror people, they like it. So you keep talking in their language, you keep using the words they use, or you keep behaving in the way that they love it, and then later on you lose interest. Usually this is what happens, so you get that person hooked on. It literally becomes a challenge. That I need to get this person, and somehow I'll get this person. And once you get that person, you get bored of that person, you lose interest. Or sometimes it is the other way around. You do it so much that the other person starts losing interest in you, because all of your energy is focused on getting something from them, and maybe they give it to you, but later on they start feeling drained. Goddesses always respect other people's boundaries, and at the same time they have their own boundaries too. They are not going to accept any bullshit or nonsense business, or they are not going to accept excuses that don't work out, or they are not also going to accept the sweet talking, the fake sweet talking, the fake gifting, or the fake complimenting, the fake appreciations. She can read through it very easily. When you are working on this energetic shift in your life, you're also not going to try to fix other people's lives or other people's things. Of course, if someone tells you that, I need your help in this, or I'm going through this situation and this is what is happening with me, and you give them a good solution, you want to help them out, that's understandable. If they don't take that help, then you need to also understand that these people are basically covert narcissists, and they keep saying all these things just to be in the victim energies, just to get that attention and some kind of a pampering, or some kind of a, oh, poor you. You can provide solutions to them, but The same thing also applies in dating. If you're dating a man and you have to fix his life all the time, like you have to go to his house and you have to clean it up, like once or twice it's okay, once in a while it's okay, but literally every time you go to his house or you are sitting in his car or you're just hanging out with him, it's all about fixing things, like fixing his house, fixing his car, or fixing his mood, or fixing his emotions, making him laugh. Like if you have to do all of that, then please understand you're not using your goddess energy. Some people are like that. Like initially, when they like a person, they do a lot for the person. They'll do so much for a person that they will make sure that this person is going to depend on me. Okay? Even in dating, like initially the man will do so many things for you. And you will be shocked, like, oh my God, he's like literally a problem solver in my life. But once he realizes that now she's mine and now, I can do whatever I want to do, he'll stop doing those things. And on the contrary, he will expect you to do a lot of other things, sort of very patriarchal and very chauvinistic in nature. Now, as much as you respect the masculine energy, a goddess can also differentiate between a toxic masculine and a genuine masculine, a divine masculine very easily. It is one thing to forgive people, but if it becomes too much, then she is not going to keep repeating it. And whether some people like it or not, but you need to move on very fast when the situation is not conducive for you. If you're not happy doing something, you need to move on. Maybe sometimes you don't move on verbally. In some cases, you verbally move on that, okay, I want to not do this anymore and wish you all the very best or whatever. But in some cases, you have to mentally move on from that person. Like mentally, you have to disconnect, you have to cut the cord from that person. And if you want a relationship to work out, say it is a bit difficult, it is a bit problematic, using your goddess energy, how do you fix it? As I said in the very beginning, independence. You need to practice on a regular basis, emotionally, mentally, financially, and physically also, so that you're able to get things done on your own when nobody is around. This makes a woman extremely attractive and high value. Dating is something which is supposed to be fun, like you go out, you do things, you do activities. It's not like something that you need to put yourself into or force yourself into because you have a biological clock ticking, or someone close to you has told you that, you know what, your time has come, now you need to get married, or you need to get settled down, or you need to find a boy, so do it ASAP, and you just put all your energy into it. Goddesses don't succumb to the societal flaws, to the pressures, to the demands that other people put on them. They can easily live their life with or without people. So it is very important to know that if you're going out, even, you are not committed to one single person and you go out with multiple people, or you have different types of male friends also, it's okay to keep it clear with all of them that, look, I am not committed to anyone, or I am not even involved with anyone. It is best to not get intimate with so many people. Even though some of you might say that this is very orthodox and I want to be a modern person. I mean, if you really want to experiment, if you really want to do something for an experience, like you don't know what a one night stand is really, or you don't know how a blind date works out, or you don't know how a friends with benefits date would work out, maybe for experience sake you can go. But if you're not comfortable in it, you don't have to do it. You literally don't have to do anything that you're not comfortable in. That is goddess energy. If you let a man be, if you let a person be how he is without dropping any hints of I like this or I like that, roses are my favorite flowers. Like I see Kim Kardashian, you can see that when she went to Paris Hilton's wedding, she asked her to throw that bouquet, that usually women catch if they want to get married. So she did that on purpose. She told Paris that you know where to throw it. You know who's gonna catch it. That's number one. That's a very strong hint. So whosoever she's dating, she's publicly on television dropping off a huge bombshell of a hint that, you know what, I want to get married, or I want to be in a serious commitment or some kind of an engagement. Then she was talking about the children, and her sister Courtney, she recently got married to Travis Scott and they had multiple ceremonies. So the children were talking about the new stepdad, and she was listening in maybe, and she used the children to put forth her own desire to be in a situation where a stepdad enters the picture. So these are very manipulative and these are very toxic ways to seduce men or to drop hints onto them that I want this, get it for me. This is not the natural way of doing things. If you let everything progress naturally and act out naturally, then you will also have a lot of adventure, and you might end up being with a person who may be very different from you, has a lot of different hobbies. You're two different people, but you would like that difference. You will acknowledge that difference, and maybe you'll also enjoy that difference. You'll be like, okay, this is a person who's not like me, so isn't this interesting? For a goddess, it's very important that her time is taken seriously and she keeps it very preciously. Like, she does not waste her time, she does not misuse her time. She has a disciplined life and she also knows how to have fun. So coming into the balance is very, very important. For example, the man keeps cancelling on this woman, and every time he cancels, he'll cancel say in the last minute, or he'll cancel 2 hours before the actual meeting is supposed to happen, or he's going to make up some excuse. Or I'll come to some other examples, some very interesting examples. He is making up these excuses, and then say next day he calls you again and he says, hey, let's catch up, yesterday I could not meet you. And the goddess is not going to be available. She is not going to be available until and unless she wants to, and she is going to ask him that what happened. If this happens once in a while, it's okay. But if it is a continuous process, in fact, this tip can actually help you in many other areas also. For example, you are working with some other people, or you have some friends also, and they keep calling you to visit them, to meet them, and they call you at any hour and they expect you to be there. And if you are not there, then they are unhappy about it, and say they tell you that, hey, we have something very important to discuss, and you say, okay, fine, I'll be there. Or you have to go somewhere together and some important task has to be done, and every time you leave all your work behind, you give your precious time to them, they don't do that particular task and they do some other things. They do 100 other things but not that. Or they'll talk to you, they'll chit chat with you for 2 hours, 3 hours. When they are free, when they have time, they expect you to be there for them. They don't respect your boundaries, they don't respect your time frames, they don't respect your work. Whether it's in dating or whether it is some other social setup, a goddess knows how to value her time and how to create boundaries around it, and how to tell other people that, look, this is when I am busy, this is when I do things, and even if I'm not busy, even if I'm not doing anything, even if I'm just relaxing, that's my time. Like some people can actually say these things to you, oh, you work from home, so you can always come. You have to tell them, no, just because I work from home does not mean that I can be available or I can be present. This is usually seen that when a woman, she becomes more independent, more capable, more bold, she also does things and she also has professional obligations which are not very stressful, okay, which are not very straining, which are not very draining. So other people might think that, oh, she's so relaxed and oh, she's so easygoing, oh, her life is like this, so she may be available for me at every single hour, or whenever I give a call, or whenever I message, or whenever I ask her out, she's going to be there. That's not how it should be, because she has tons of things to do. One beautiful quality of goddess energy is that it is always in surrender mode, usually. So when you're in surrender mode, every day is a new day for you and every day is an adventure. And you are not scared of unpredictable things. You're not scared of problems coming in, be it dating or be it some other scenario. If something difficult happens, if something bad happens, you don't lose your cool. If you're losing your cool constantly, then you need to check your goddess energy. But as I said, she can be Saraswati, she can be Lakshmi, and she can be Durga also. When it is required, she can be very fierce with people, or even with the men who are probably taking her for a ride. So this is something that an individual needs to work on. Like individually, you have to figure out what is the right type of response in a given situation. And she knows that, and especially those people know that who are in surrendered energy, because everything becomes very natural. It's not an act that they have to put up. Liking someone is not an act. Admiring someone is not an act. Everything is authentic and real. One more thing is for goddesses, that if someone rejects you, you don't take it personally, you don't take it to your heart. If it does hurt you, then you're going to go within yourself and you're going to realize that, okay, this is hurting me right now because this is supposed to teach me something. Okay, if I'm in pain because of a certain person, because of a certain situation, it is definitely going to teach me something. I'm going to learn something from it and I'm going to utilize it in my upcoming days and upcoming life. Whatever is coming in my life, I'm going to utilize it. I'm not going to let it go waste, because every experience is there to teach us something. So dating also is something, a place where you can learn a lot from the rejections, from the happy times, from the sad times, sometimes things not working out, and even the times when you have to take time to know a person. A lot of people who are in the feminine energy and they are doing inner work, they have a lot of neck pain, shoulder pain, back pains, back aches, because they are not flexible. So when I say all these points, this also means that there could be some times where you have to make an exception, or you have to do something different as per the situation, which may not be covered in this video or some other video, because you know your life the best, you know your emotions, you know your situations the best. So flexibility is also a trait of the goddess. Depending on the situation, depending on the need of the hour, depending on what's happening around her, she can be flexible. So maybe you've always wanted to date a man who has blue eyes, black hair, or say blonde hair, or a certain type of height, and when you meet that type of a person, like you literally manifest that type of a person, you're very happy, you're very excited. But as you go further into knowing that person more, you realize that they physically match with all the traits that you wanted, but spiritually they don't match, or emotionally they don't match. She won't take this long to get out of it, because let me tell you that physical attraction is a part of dating, but it is not everything. And if something does not work out according to you, you can leave from it without feeling bad. You can just even tell that person clearly that, you know what, it's not working out. One more wonderful quality of the goddess is, while dating, she is going to be objectively observant. I'm talking to all types of people right now. I'm talking to young teenagers, I'm talking to married women, I'm talking to divorcees, I'm talking to single mothers, single women, I'm talking to all age groups and also all sexualities. Okay, so the point here is that you have to objectively observe everything. You have to be like, okay, I cannot go by hearsay, and I cannot go by other people's perception about the person I date. So say you are interested in someone and people tell you that, you know, this person has a shady past, or this person is not a nice person, or maybe there are some other people who are there to give their judgment on your relationship or on your choice. But if you're a smart woman, you're going to follow your own intuition. You're going to basically observe that person in such a way that you're not forming perceptions out of other places or other situations, whereas you see this person as someone who's absolutely fresh. You don't form any rigid, stubborn notions about anybody for that matter. If a person is different, you know, you are different and the other person is different, but you both gel along very well. Like they could be liking soccer and you could be liking swimming, or they could be liking to play musical instruments and you could be a complete nerd, or vice versa also. And since I'm talking to all age groups and all women, all types of women in different commitments and in different scenarios. You could be someone who has been single for a while, or you could be someone who's a single mother. Although these are two different things, but dating scenarios or dating tips can apply to both. Now, there are also women who have been in long-term relationships with men ever since they were like in their teenage, maybe 16, 17 is when they started dating, and you know, they were with someone for 5 years or 10 years, and then now after a while they took a break and they started dating again. So sometimes they don't want to commit that strongly because they've already had a long-term relationship or maybe multiple long-term relationships, and they feel that they have tasted how marriage is, or how engagement is, or how having children is. all these different experiences, they've gone through it, and now they want to be in a more free spirited world. They want to be more in a community setup, or they want to be with someone who makes them happy. Like, you can go out and do things like trekking or swimming or cycling or skateboarding. Maybe for some women it could be possible that in their past relationships they were very submissive. They were gentle in a way that they didn't want to be gentle, but they were forced to be gentle. They were forced to stub out their fiery, feisty side. So in many of those scenarios, you may not be looking for a strong label, you may not be looking for an engagement or a marriage. You just want to be yourself. You just want to enjoy someone's company, and you just want to be easy, and at the same time you can take care of your responsibilities, like your children, maybe your pets, or maybe some other mission that you're involved in, because obviously I'm also talking to people who are in a twin flame ascension journey. So whatever your scenario is, be proud of yourself, be happy. You are amazing. Never forget that you're amazing, and never go to people who judge you for body size, for skin color, for social status, for all those other things that are not even important, that are temporary and totally materialistic. Dating is going to be amazing for you if you let it naturally happen. And if it does not go on for a long time, say you start dating a person and it sort of fades away after 6 months, okay, no problem. It had a certain date, it came with maybe an expiry date, maybe there's a reason why you're with that person, and we need to let people go, because dating is literally the opposite of a committed relationship. Or you can say dating can also apply to those people who are in a relationship and they are maybe heading towards commitment. Or in today's world, I see men and women are more keen on having relationships which are more real and effortless, and you're not always scared. You're not always like, oh my god, is it gonna end, is it not gonna work out, things like that. So goddesses like to maintain relationships in such a way that they don't drain their energy, and there is something to look up to. Like, you need to get inspired from a person, and at the same time you need to have fun, be happy. So all of these things would probably fall under how to use goddess energy: the free spirited, the raw, the wild, the untamed, and at the same time the smart, the sophisticated, the classy. So there are so many things actually happening, but there is always a thin line in becoming an extremist. So the last point that I want to put on the table for you is that goddess energy is not extreme. If it has to be extreme, then it will be for a certain reason, and that's about it. So how to strike a balance. There is always a thin line. That. Alright? So for your personal situation and help in this department in relationships and love, you can write to me at thesunamoon@gmail.com after you go through the description box. And when you're sure, completely sure, then you can let me know that this is what I want to book, or you can book it and then also write to me. And kindly do not share your twin flame journey in advance with me, or your previous dating history or dating experience in advance with me. Once you get into the personal session or the therapy, we are going to follow a step-by-step procedure, and we are going to bring out all the issues one by one, so that we can remove the blocks that put you in a zone where you cannot enjoy your dating life. Or if you want to attract or become a match to a positive, happy dating life, remember, goddesses or potential goddesses, inner work is the key to a happy and fulfilling life. Dating is a part of your life if you want to make it, but if you have something amazing going on like a mission, then you'll never have lack of energy. You'll always be gung-ho, excited, motivated, and most importantly, positively charged. The men also are going to take inspiration from you. One very important aspect of the goddess energy is that she does not treat her body like a piece of meat, or she does not present her body to people who don't even respect her. If they want to get close to her, then they need to, the people, whosoever it is, they need to show it to her that they deserve her time, her intimacy, her love, her affection, everything. This does not mean that, somebody is expected to not be happy, not enjoy intimacy or sexual relationships with other people. This is not the case. Here we are trying to tell you what a goddess energy would do. This actually means that the goddess is not so desperate, the goddess energy is not so desperate that she is going to offer her body to someone just because the other person thinks that they should make out with her or they should have sex with her, maybe on the first date or a second date or for one night stand. Like, this whole culture of casual sex is actually a very toxic culture. Her body is literally a temple of God, and she will not allow those people to enter this temple who don't deserve it or who are not worthy of it. And temple does not only mean idolization. Most people think that when we talk about temples or we talk about a holy place or we talk about a spiritual place, it's all about worshipping a figure. That's not the case. So the body is a device for the goddess, and her soul that is within her, it is the actual essence. And I read this very interesting quote somewhere that any man can have sex with you, feed you, buy you stuff, but it takes a real man to help you become a better woman, to build with you and work with you in building a better life. So a goddess treats men also as equal to her. She does not look down upon men, and she feels that, just the way behind every successful man is a woman, similarly behind every successful woman also are other people who are from the opposite sex. So it's not like she has that arrogance. Another very interesting quote was doing rounds on the social media, and I'm going to read it out for you. Casual sex is one of the biggest scams of the 21st century. During sex, your body releases oxytocin, which makes you subconsciously bond with your partner. But brief attachment with many people leaves you feel empty, also damages your trust, empathy, and ability to feel intimacy. So when you start working on yourself, when you start doing inner work, the Kundalini, when it awakens, when we are not rooted in our base, in our foundation, in our existence, then we have this need of intimacy, which is not a healthy intimacy, where we feel that physical touch, any physical gesture, any physical love, even if it is not loving, kind, compassionate. When you're not a healed person, when your femininity is not healed, you will feel that any type of touch is literally a touch of love. Any type of touch, even if it's harmful, even if it's unhealthy, even if it's violent in nature. So there are many women who are in relationships with men who beat them up, who gaslight them, who treat them very horribly, who disrespect them, but still they have an active sexual relationship with them. So that's not being in goddess energy. Because if somebody is treating you badly, and just because they are getting intimate with you does not mean that they love you. So goddess energy can differentiate between a loving touch and a toxic touch, which is unhealthy. So I will see you soon in another one. One love and peace out.